Hello, my name is Tanya Cody Robinson. I'm the Business Relations Specialist with the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. Today is April 1st, 2020, and this is the WIOA Rapid Response webinar for workforce services for dislocated workers for the Kmart Des Plaines, Illinois location. Again, I kind of already introduced myself. I am Tanya Cody Robinson, Business Relations Specialist with the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. And let me tell you a little information about the partnership. We were created in 2012. The Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, known as the Partnership, is an umbrella organization operated by the public workforce system, which is a collaboration of the City of Chicago and Cook County. In the partnership with federal dollars and philanthropic resources, we're able to broaden our reach and impact the workforce development service community for both job seekers and employers, or for employers and job seekers. As the largest workforce development system in the nation, the partnership has placed more than 60,000 individuals in employment and collaborated, and we have collaborated with more than 2,000 employers and growing, and we administer more than 200 million in federal and philanthropic monies and dollars. With the partnership, we come armed with a network of over 53 community-based organizations, which consist of 10 American job centers, and we are sector focused, whereas we serve 132 municipalities within the Cook County area. In our work, we focus on regional market data, and the partnership provides training and business services, career coaching, and data analysis in 7 high-growth demand industries. They're listed here, which is business and professional services, healthcare, retail, culinary, and hospitality, information technology, manufacturing, transportation, distribution, and logistics, and construction. For more information about the partnership work, you can still call us. We have staff on call, and where most of us are working remotely. There's our general number, our main number, which is 312-603-0200, or you can follow us at Shy Cook Works, or subscribe at The Works, which is our partnership newsletter, which is distributed monthly for everyone who signed up to find out the excellent work that we're doing and the partnership that we have with employers and the community at large. Our motivation, which is our vision, is that every person has the opportunity to build a career, and that every business have the talent to grow and compete within a global economy. As it relates to our mission is to create, promote, and effectively manage a network of workforce development organizations that, 1, design innovative solutions to address the needs of business, and 2, prepare individuals for and connect them to career opportunities. An example of us doing that is the way that we're implementing the webinar today, so that we can connect with our training needs of our people who've been impacted, as well as our employer need and the community at large. My next slide, our system overview. Seems like it's taking a little time to load here.
I believe that's a slide that has multiple clicks on it before it shows everything.
You have to what? Say that again.
I believe you have to click multiple times before it displays everything. It shows it.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, our system overview is the job seeker and the employer. The training providers, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you, Marcus. We have career coaches, where you have the job seeker, the training provider, the career coach. We also have a business services team. That's part of the team that I work with the employers. And then there's the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. Together, we create a talent pipeline. We have a repository for job postings, recruitments, assessments, and upskilling people within our network. And as you can see, the arrows could go in any different direction. We focus from our perspective, business engagement. We have a sector strategy approach, which focuses on those 7 high growth industries. We're analyzing the data to find out where the jobs are and employment trends. We're providing career coaching to the same population, where we're connecting the business to the job seeker. Career coaching, individual training, employment plans, training, as well as job search. We also have career pathways, where we're having the discussions with the U.S. Department of Labor with apprenticeship programs now. And by upskilling people, we're creating a talent pipeline where they will organically fit into those opportunities. So there's a circular motion either going each way, so that we can connect the job seeker to the employment opportunity. And we have a team of experts there that's analyzing the data, and we're coaching people as we go for that talent pipeline. Thank you, Marcus. Clicking again. The regional labor market information, again, is business and professional services, healthcare. There's a huge demand in these top 3 areas here, well, all areas that's listed. Business and professional services, healthcare, retail, culinary, and hospitality. And we could talk about with our career coaches how we're navigating within the hospitality tourism as we speak now, which, if you've been listening to the news, is kind of navigating into healthcare. But also information technology, manufacturing, transportation, distribution, and logistics, and construction. Let me go back. Let's talk about you as the dislocated worker, and how you fit into this equation. Our rapid response services is for laid off workers. What our role here is to provide information and available services and programming for WIOA dislocated workers. And when I say dislocated workers, it's a federal act, which is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It's administered by the Cook County Public Workforce System, and that's the local workforce innovation area, which we're the local LWIA, the local workforce area for local LWIA 7. We're known as the partnership. And our role is to support effective workers who are facing unemployment, layoff due to no fault of their own. And we provide employment services and/or programs and resources to help prepare you as the job seeker and support them in reemployment services and efforts. This could include us retraining you in the sector that's on demand for occupational driven occupations. And those are those 7 high growth industries that I mentioned early in the presentation. What is a dislocated worker? A dislocated worker is someone who has received a notice of layoff, or who has been laid off due to the company's closure or reorganization resulting in a reduction of the labor force, or a mass layoff. Rapid response services are set into action by receipt of the WARN notice, which means that the state is notified, the county and the city is notified by way of a notice, and WIOA dislocated worker funds is how we fit in as the workforce services. We serve people who have been impacted due to layoffs. So while the worker is in their employment transition through workforce development programs and services, which means we provide you with training vouchers and additional supportive services, even if it's a temporary or part-time job, for if your company calls you back, or if you decide to train in one of the high growth industries that were listed within the 7 that I mentioned. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, we help laid off workers with programs for dislocated workers. These monies that are made available by way of grants and ITA is made available through a federal funding mechanism through the U.S. Department of Labor. WIOA funds the public workforce system throughout USA and through the United States and through our American Job Center system. WIOA funding provides reemployment preparations for job search assistance, job placement, supportive services assistance, and the opportunity to train in an occupation that's leading the workforce market. So in short, what that means is when we talk about supportive services, that is you need training costs if there's special equipment or special certification. All of that is funded under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The great thing about this is there is no cost to you because this entire program and law is tax dollar funded. It's funded by way of our tax dollars. How can get started through WIOA? How can WIOA help? What's the next step? As a dislocated worker program, you can access all of these services through our American Job Centers and through our public workforce systems. In Cook County, we have 10 comprehensive workforce systems that are located within Chicago and our suburban network. We have a network of experts of workforce development professionals and organizations that we operated regionally throughout the Chicago and the Cook County area. You can call the nearest local workforce area, any of our American Job Centers nearest you, and locate and register for an orientation. They're held weekly. You can bring your company separation letter, which validates your layoff and other required documents. So that's the letter that you receive from your company is how you would bring that for supportive services. So all of this information is available to you on our portals, which we'll be able to provide more information to you on. The career success here. We also have coach and search assistance sectors that I mentioned. And there's also employment career services. That's the training, the mock interviews, and preparing you for employment opportunities within this changing economy. Oh, it looks like I'm cutting off. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. If I'm cutting off, all of this will be recorded. For more information regarding high growth industries and our comprehensive workforce systems, we have Illinois WorkNet, which is another virtual system that we use. And you could follow the laid off worker icon, which is listed when you signed up. Here's the website where you could click on the portal. And Illinois WorkNet is an online 24-hour, 7 days a week informational workforce development website. And this website helps you navigate and prepare for the process as you go through this process. You can prepare for a job search or career. It'll even direct you to healthcare resources if you need healthcare while we're in this time. Also, Illinois WorkNet can help you prepare in terms of connecting with the American Job Center. And you could do this by putting in your zip code that's nearest to you, and you could set up a range, whether it is within your local area, 10 miles, and even up to a national level, so you can connect with our comprehensive American Job Center that works best for you in your community during this time. There is also a company-specific layoff page that has been set up for Kmart displays. All of the services that are available to you, you can click on that icon and it'll direct you directly to the company-specific page that has been set up for Kmart display store. You can also connect with me at the partnership or with our newsletter that we talked about by signing up on our newsletter here using Shy Cook Works. So you can visit our website, you can contact us or connect with us on social media or subscribe to our monthly newsletter in the works that talks about all of the local work that we're doing based on all of the high growth industries using a regional approach. And for me, that looks like that completes my presentation. Do we have any questions for me in the chat, or Marcus, are we holding my questions to the end? Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I think Tracy's up next. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Tanya. Marcus, my
All
name
right,
is
Tracy.
Tracy Johnson.
Sorry, I have your documents pulled up and I'm ready.
Okay. My name is Tracy Johnson. I'm a benefits advisor with the U.S. Department of Labor, and I'm here to talk to you about protecting your employer-sponsored health and retirement benefits due to your job loss. Next slide, please. My agency is the Employee Benefit Security Administration, also known as EPSA, and we enforce ERISA, which is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. And ERISA is the main governing body for health and retirement plans, retirement benefits sponsored by private sector employers. And when there is a job loss, timely action is needed to protect your benefits. Next slide, please. Your options for health coverage are special enrollment, COBRA, the Affordable Care Marketplace, and governmental plans. You can also purchase a private policy. You probably won't get the same, you'll pay a lesser premium, but you won't get the same type of coverage that you get through a group health plan. Next slide, please. So under HIPAA, special enrollment, you have the right to enroll on your spouse's plan. You must make the request to your spouse's plan within 30 days of your loss of coverage, not from your day of termination, but from your loss of coverage. And then coverage will become effective the first of the month following your request to the plan. Next slide, please. So COBRA allows you to keep the same group health coverage you had as an employee, and this includes dental and vision. You have to be on the group health plan 1 day prior to losing coverage, and the employer had to have at least 20 employees in the prior year. Next slide, please. COBRA lasts for 18 months. You pay for the full cost of the premium plus a 2% administrative fee. Your employer is required to provide you with a COBRA election notice within 44 days after your last day on the group health plan. You have 60 days to elect COBRA from the date on the notice and another 45 days to make the first premium payment. COBRA is retroactive, so you will be covered back to your last day on the group health plan. Next slide, please. You have a special enrollment right to enroll on the Affordable Care Marketplace, and you can enroll during or outside of open enrollment. If you enroll between the 1st and the 15th of the month, coverage becomes effective the following month. If you enroll from the 16th to the end of the month, coverage becomes effective the month following the following month. And then you can go to healthcare.gov for further assistance. Next slide, please. You may also be eligible for coverage through Medicaid, which is a governmental plan, and you can also apply. You may be, if you have kids, you may be eligible for all kids insurance plan through the state of Illinois. The best thing to do would be to contact health.illinois.gov for more information. Next slide, please. If anyone has a pension plan, make sure you know how to reach the plan administrator when you're ready to take your distribution or start your pension benefit. Make sure you keep your address updated with the plan, and make sure you have a copy of the summary plan description, which will tell you which tells you how your plan operates when you can start receiving your pension benefit. And usually normal retirement age is 65, but sometimes you may be able to get an earlier distribution at an earlier date. But just know that usually in those situations, you will lose about 6% for every year that you're not 65 if you do take an early distribution. Next slide, please. So your 4 options for if you have a 401k plan, you can keep the funds in the old plan and keep in touch. You can roll over your distribution into your own personal IRA. You can get a lump sum distribution and pay the taxes. And then sometimes a new employer will allow you to roll over your funds into their 401k plan, but it depends on the rules of the new employer's plan. I strongly advise you to do a rollover. Just a side note, I had a gentleman that was trying to kept his money with the company for 7 years. When he tried to get a distribution, this was back in February, his account was about $196,000. He got his distribution last week and it was $125,000 because you never know how the market is going to go. Just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. So if you have any other questions, please be sure to contact us at the toll-free number that's listed, or you can send us an email. And that's it for me. I'd like to pass the baton on to Dan. Hello?
Yes, so we're pulling up Dan now.
Okay.
And just a quick note. So it
Mhm.
looks like this is nationwide. We are getting notices that Zoom is cutting out for people. We just got an alert from our end. So if you do, all the presentations that are shown today will also be shown or be displayed on your public page. So if there's any additional information that you are looking for with help with your layoff, please visit your public page on Illinois WorkNet, and that will have all these presentations there also.
Okay. Were you able to?
Yes, we were able to go through yourself.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to mute and thank you, Marcus.
All right, Dan.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm with the Illinois Department of Employment Security. Here to talk to you a little bit about the unemployment insurance. The first thing to know is that unemployment insurance is administered by the state of Illinois. It's based on taxes that the employers pay. So as an employee, you have not paid into the unemployment insurance system. That's an important distinction. Unlike some of the programs that you've just heard about, those were all taxpayer-funded programs. So we certainly highly encourage you to take advantage of those. You've paid for those with your tax dollars. When you go back to work, you're going to continue to pay for those with your tax dollars. So by all means, take advantage of those. And then, of course, the unemployment insurance benefit is something you should take advantage of as well. Just know that that is not something that you've paid into with your taxes. Let's see here. My next slide, there we go. In order to receive unemployment insurance benefits, there are what are called non-monetary and monetary eligibility requirements. So the first non-monetary eligibility requirement that you should be aware of is that you must be involuntarily unemployed or underemployed. So the information that I received was that your separation date will be April 12th. Maybe for some of you it was prior to that, or some of you it might be after that. Regardless, what is important to know is that you must be involuntarily unemployed. So if you were to leave your job before your employer releases you, then you're no longer involuntarily unemployed. If you were to be fired for cause before then, you're no longer involuntarily unemployed. So be sure to pay close attention to that. With regard to the eligibility requirements, it shows there on the screen, you must have earned $1,600 in a quarter and then an additional $440 in a separate quarter. So basically for 2019, if you are going to be filing next week, there's a crossover period right now, but let's assume you file next week or the week after. We're going to be looking at your 2019 income, and during one 3-month period you must have earned $1,600, and during another 3-month period you must have earned $440. It says right there what every worker should know about unemployment insurance. There is a handout available to you electronically that covers the eligibility requirements, so that will be on your company page as well. Oop, went a little too fast there. There are different amounts that individuals receive for their unemployment insurance benefit based on their prior earnings. So again, we're looking at your base period and those quarters, and there's a lot of details and information regarding that. But the important thing to know is that there are minimums and maximums, and that's for your individual, what's called a weekly benefit amount. There's also something called a dependent allowance. You're allowed a single dependent allowance, either a non-working spouse or a child under the age of 18. And it is a single dependent, so even if you had 3 or 4 or 10 children, you're only allowed a single dependent allowance for your child. And they typically recommend that when you're filing your claim, you would put the information in for your youngest child because they will obviously age out last. So if you were to put your oldest child and then file another claim in 3 years, and that child was no longer 18, you would have lost that benefit, and you would need to put in another child at that point. So just pay attention to that. Unemployment insurance benefits are for 26 weeks. Now, I should say with the maximum benefit amounts and this 26 weeks, there is a lot of conversation regarding federal stimulus, and I'm going to postpone any discussion of that. Right now, we're talking about the standard law as it applies. So typically, the maximum is 26 weeks of unemployment insurance in a given 1-year period. So for more information, in the middle of this screen, it gives the website. So this is for the Illinois Department of Employment Security, www.ides.illinois.gov. And that is the place you should go for the most current information regarding not only your claims in a general sense, but also anything as it relates to federal stimulus or COVID-19. There are announcements up there with regard to additional monies and things like that. So I'd have to refer you to any of those because the information is changing fairly rapidly and being updated. So I want you to be sure of that. So and that is also where you would file for unemployment online at that website. You can also, in normal circumstances, come into the local office and we will assist you filing online there. But of course, our offices are closed during this period. So the alternative would be to call Claimant Services at 1-800-244-5631. Now, when you should file. You file your unemployment claim during your first week of being unemployed. So another way to look at it would just be to file it after your first day of separation. So if you're still employed, you are not allowed to file yet, but if today was your last day, then you could file tomorrow, and you want to do that as soon as possible. During this period of high volume of unemployment claims, Illinois has implemented a schedule based on the first letter of your last name. So depending on whether you're filing online or over the phone, we're asking you to follow the schedule. Again, this presentation is recorded, but it's also, this schedule is also available when you go to the IDES website. So here's an image of the IDES website. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there is a orange box that says sign in to my account and a drop-down menu that says select one. And you would simply select that you are filing a claim. It's the first option, file my unemployment insurance claim. And again, this same website, right on the splash screen, they give all the information on COVID-19 updates. Before you file, though, you will need to collect and gather up some information. So we need to do a verification of your Social Security number and your driver's license or other state ID. When you are entering that information in, it asks you whether you're using a state ID or your driver's license. And then you need to enter in the information exactly as it appears on your, if you've selected driver's license, then exactly as it appears in your driver's license. They actually do a confirmation with the Secretary of State. So, you know, if your weight has changed, that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the weight as it's listed on that piece of identification. And if you put anything else in, it's going to fail the verification test. So please be sure to enter that information correctly. You'll want to gather up the names, addresses, phone numbers, and amounts of times that you worked for any employer over the last 18 months, any pension or retirement payments that you're receiving, not including Social Security. And if you would like to be paid via direct deposit, you will also want to have your bank routing, bank account number and the routing number so that you can enter that information at the end of the claim. I mentioned that you're allowed a dependent allowance if you have a non-working spouse or a child under the age of 18. So you'll want their information, including a Social Security number, if you're going to be claiming a dependent. So after you file for that unemployment claim, you're going to want to go to illinoisjoblink.com and complete registration. And what that means is that you will need to activate a resume on that website. When you file your unemployment insurance claim, it's going to create an account in Illinois JobLink for you, typically. The very last screen of your claim, of your unemployment insurance claim, again, this is when you're on the IDES website, it will give you a confirmation number. It'll give you your UI, that's unemployment insurance claimant identification number. And then it will also give you your Illinois JobLink user ID. And again, that's a different website. So then you would go to illinoisjoblink.com and enter in that user ID. If this is your first time filing, the password will be your Social Security number. And then it'll have you update that the first time you log in. If you've filed before and have an existing Illinois JobLink account, it's going to request that you have that same password that you used however long ago it was. If you don't know that, you'll need to contact the Illinois JobLink help desk, and they'll be able to reset or assist you in resetting your password. Once that is completed, and again, you will want to complete that within about a week, or as quickly as possible. You will also be receiving in the mail a UI finding letter. So all the information that you're going to receive from the Illinois Department of Employment Security is going to come via mail first, and they are all considered legal documents. So please don't just let those pile up in your junk mail. Open them, read them, and understand them as soon as you receive them. Your UI finding letter is a very important piece of information. It's going to include a summary of the wages that we see being attributed to you over the last 18 months, essentially, in your base period. And based on those, we're going to also show and report your weekly benefit amount, including any dependent allowance you're going to have, and then your maximum benefit amount, which is a balance essentially. What they're going to do is take that weekly benefit amount, not including the dependent allowance, just your weekly benefit amount, multiply that by 26, and that's going to be your balance. It's also going to include a certification date. Again, I'll cover certifying in just a moment, but you do that every 2 weeks while you're on unemployment insurance benefits. And it will include a statement as to whether or not you've elected to receive your money via direct deposit. If you have not elected to receive your money via direct deposit, you will receive it via a debit card. So when you file for unemployment insurance benefits, it will provide you with a debit card in the mail, and you'll need to activate that, and then your money would be deposited there. We do not mail out checks any longer. So then you will also be responsible for recording your work search. So I'll show a little bit about that now. Through IllinoisJobLink.com, again, you will be posting an active resume, and that will complete your registration. This is an image of Illinois JobLink. Again, it's a different website than IDES. In the upper right-hand corner, that is the login button. Be sure not to create an additional Illinois JobLink account. There can only be one with your Social Security number. So it will prevent you from creating another one with your Social Security number. However, there is an option to create one without a Social Security number because this is free to use for anyone in the state. You don't have to be an unemployment claimant. But if you are, the unemployment system is going to check Illinois JobLink based on your Social Security number to make sure you have that active resume. And if it doesn't see it in that account, you will not get paid. So again, you're required to keep a record of your work search. If you look for jobs in Illinois JobLink, while logged in, of course, it will keep a record of your work search for you. Of course, it's only going to keep a record of things that you've done while in Illinois JobLink. It will not keep a record of interviews or phone conversations or emails outside of Illinois JobLink, but you can manually enter those into Illinois JobLink or use the IDES work search form. So you can see on the screen here, on the left, there is an official IDES work search form. You can get those on the IDES website and print them out. You can fill that out online, or again, when our offices reopen, you can stop in and we can provide you with paper copies of that. Or on the right side of your screen, there is Illinois JobLink, and it keeps track of any job search activity you do within Illinois JobLink. Either record is acceptable. You are required to keep those records for up to 53 weeks. And if you're audited, you'd be required to fax in that information. Otherwise, you may be required to pay back your unemployment payments. I had mentioned that your UI finding letter, again, it will have your first certification date listed on there, and it will tell you whether that certification day is a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Everyone is assigned a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to certify. Certifying is the act of getting back in touch with the state of Illinois and answering about 10 or 11 questions based on the prior 2 weeks. It's essentially the way we determine whether or not you're eligible to be paid for that 2-week period. So this is different than the high volume claim filing that I mentioned earlier. This is a process that everyone needs to participate in every 2 weeks, and you're again going to be assigned a Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. You are paid about 48 hours after you do your certification. So if your certification day is a Monday, you're always a Monday. You're not eligible to do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. It will reject your certification if you try. But if you do it on Monday, then you will be paid typically on Wednesday unless there's a holiday. Again, same if you're a Wednesday. If you're a Wednesday, it will not allow you to do it on Monday or Tuesday. You have to do it on Wednesday. unfortunately, Thursdays and Fridays are makeup days. The downside is, of course, that you would not be paid until the next week because of the waiting 48 hours. When you do certify for benefits, you can either do it on the IDES website or by calling an automated phone system called Teleserve. And if you have access to a computer, doing it online on the IDES website is much easier. You'll use the same username and password that you use to file your claim. But if you don't have access, you can obviously utilize the Teleserve, and instructions on those both systems are in the handouts, the electronic handouts that we've provided that will be up on the company page as well. In normal circumstances, you are not paid for your first week of your claim. It's called a waiting week. So it actually takes, the first time you certify, you're certifying for 2 weeks, but you're only paid for 1. It's not any money you've lost. You still have your full 26 weeks of benefits. It's just that first week is not paid out. At this time, it appears as though that's going to be waived as part of the federal stimulus package. But again, I'll defer to the IDES website for more information on that. I mentioned already the best ways to certify. If you have questions regarding any of these processes, you can contact the IDES Claimant Services at 1-800-244-5631. Wait times currently are very high due to the number of people filing for unemployment at this time. But just know that you can contact them and they will assist you. So I mentioned a couple of things to recap. To be eligible for unemployment insurance benefits, you must be involuntarily unemployed. When you certify, I had mentioned that there's going to be about 10 or 11 questions they're going to ask. The 3 of the most important questions are you able, available, and actively seeking work? So unemployment insurance payments are not sick pay. So if you are not able to work, you are not able to receive your unemployment insurance payment for that day or week or whatever period of time you're unable to work. You know, if you were in the hospital, unfortunately, with a broken leg, you could still look for a job, of course. You could even conduct a phone interview from your hospital bed, but unfortunately, you're not able to work, and so you would be ineligible to be paid for that day. Once again, COVID-19, there are exceptions carved out for COVID-19 illnesses. Illinois unemployment insurance benefits are not vacation pay. So if you are unavailable, if you're not within a commuting distance of your home, you would not be paid for that day or that week or that month or whatever period you're not at your home. The able and available are not penalties. You don't lose that money. They stay in your balance and they're available to you later. The final of the 3 A's is actively seeking work. You must be actively seeking work. I mentioned you can either record your work search via Illinois Job Link or on an IDES work search form. That's a yes or no question. If you answer yes, you receive your payment. If you answer no, you do not. But again, if you answer yes, you must have that record. I must stress again that you want to have an active resume on Illinois Job Link before you begin your certification. So make sure you do that within about 7 days of filing for your unemployment insurance benefits. The waiting week is part of the standard unemployment insurance law in Illinois, but again, there are exceptions that are occurring at this point. One last thing, you are eligible to work part-time and still receive your unemployment insurance benefits without deduction, as long as you earn less than 50% of your weekly benefit amount. Again, this is your weekly benefit amount, not your dependent allowance, not the total, just your weekly benefit amount. So if, for example, your weekly benefit amount was $200, you could earn $100 working part-time and still receive your full $200 weekly benefit amount. If you earned more than your than 50% of your weekly benefit amount, one week maybe you earned $120. You went $20 over that hypothetical $200, so that week you would only receive $180 in your weekly benefit amount. You did not lose that $20, it stays in your balance, so it's always to your benefit if you choose to work part-time. So again, I want to stress that everything that IDES sends you through the mail is a legal document, so please take care to read each piece of mail. And the unemployment insurance, or the employment services that were discussed earlier are available to you immediately, but the unemployment insurance itself cannot be filed until your separation date from your company. Thank you very much.